Cell phones, Babylons can't crack the code.
The 2022 college ball regular season is drawing to an end, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at players who are draft eligible, whose draft stock has gone up because of their performance that they've displayed in the 2022 college ball campaign. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not saying that every player that I'm going to be talking about in today's video is going to be declaring for the 2023 draft, but their draft stock has just improved for that draft. As usual, before I move on, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. The first player that I'm going to be talking about in today's video is Oklahoma running back Eric Gray. Eric Gray is currently having a dominant 22 campaign where he may just be the best offensive player for the Sooners. As in this 2022 college ball campaign, in 11 games played, he has 1,203 rushing yards, averaging 6.5 yards per carry, 11 total touchdowns on the ground, while also having 219 yards through the air, to have an all-purpose total of 1,422. Eric Gray has really lived up to the RB1 role for the Sooners in 2022, especially for a player that people thought would be that for sure guy, and some were even uncertain because of his ups and downs that he had in 2021 when he had a chance to be the lead back. But in 2022, Eric Gray has not missed a beat, as he's shown that he can be one of the best running backs in the nation, has great vision, is one of the most elusive backs, and overall is someone that you cannot bring down easily. Eric Gray is going to be someone that gets drafted in the earlier rounds of the 2023 NFL Draft. Moving on to the next player, it is Tennessee wide receiver Jalin Hyatt. Jalin Hyatt has completely broken out on the scene for 2022. Prior to the 2022 college ball season, in 2020 and 2021, he did not eclipse over 300 receiving yards, and now in 2022, he's one of the best receivers in the game and may even win the Blitnikoff Award. As in 11 games played for the Volunteers, he has 64 receptions for 1,181 yards, 18.5 yards per reception, and 15 total touchdowns through the air. To put it in perspective of him compared to the rest of the NCAA, he's number 3 in receiving yards, and he's number 1 in receiving touchdowns. Hyatt has been a go-to receiver for the Volunteers all season long, and he's been putting up big numbers pretty much every week of the season, and he's really solidified himself and made his draft stock completely skyrocket with his play in 2022, solidifying himself as one of the best receivers in college football. Switching it to the quarterback position, a player who may have increased his stock the most out of all the quarterbacks in the nation is Oregon quarterback BONIX. BONIX, previous to his time at Oregon in 2022, was a 3-year starting quarterback for Auburn, where he had his ups and downs as a quarterback in his career, in which he threw for 39 touchdown passes, 16 interceptions, threw for just over 7,000 yards, while completing 59% of his passes. And going into 2022 with Oregon, there were some doubts about him, as he showed inconsistencies his entire time at Auburn, but he's taken off in 2022, having his best season in his career. 11 games played, 72% of his passes completed, 3,061 yards through the air, 25 touchdown passes compared to 6 interceptions, over 500 rushing yards, averaging 6 yards a carry, and 14 total touchdowns on the ground. BONIX is having an unreal season that not many people saw coming from him. People knew he had potential to do it, but because of his play in the past, people never really saw it coming. And now BONIX is on a good Oregon team, leading them as the quarterback, and has a chance to be a Heisman finalist. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to be taking a look at USC defensive lineman Tuli Tuipulotu. Tuipulotu is having a monster 22 campaign for USC, as he's emerged as one of the top defensive players, if not the top defensive player, and a true leader of the team. In 11 games played for the Trojans, he has 38 total tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks, 3 pass deflections, and 2 forced fumbles. It seems like he practically lives in the backfield this entire season. To put in perspective, of how he's been playing compared to the Pac-12 and the rest of the NCAA, he currently leads the Pac-12 in tackles for loss, is second in the NCAA, and for sacks, he is the leader in both the Pac-12 and the NCAA, and he's also top 5 for forced fumbles in the Pac-12. After a good showing in 2021 and now an elite showing in 2022, you can guarantee that NFL scouts are keeping their eye on Tuipulotu. With this next player, I'm going to be taking a look at Fighting Illini defensive back for Illinois, Devon Witherspoon. Witherspoon has been a good defensive back his entire career, but in 2022, he's really taken his game to the next level and is even being recognized as one of the best defensive backs in all of college football. He's currently a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, and honestly, he has a very good shot to be a finalist for that award as well, and I would even say he has a good chance at winning it. In this 2022 campaign thus far for Illinois, he has played in 11 games, 37 total tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 1 interception, and 14 pass deflections. Illinois in the 2022 college football season has one of the best defenses in all of college football, and Devon Witherspoon is a very key part of that defense. Staying in the secondary for this next player, he's also a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. It is safety from Oklahoma State, Jason Taylor. Jason Taylor is having an amazing 22 campaign and is, in my opinion, the best defensive player on that Cowboys defense. In 11 games played, he has 83 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions, 7 pass deflections, and 1 fumble recovery. When comparing him to the rest of the NCAA and Big 12 stat-wise, he's number 1 in the Big 12 for solo tackles, number 2 in the NCAA, number 7 in the Big 12 for total tackles, number 1 in the Big 12 for interceptions, and number 4 in the NCAA for interceptions. In my opinion, Taylor's stock has improved a lot in 2022, especially capitalizing after a good 21 campaign. I feel like Taylor really has shown this season to be a safety that can be a ball hawk, hits people hard, and overall is just a big-time playmaker. For the last player that I'm going to be talking about in today's video, it's someone that I believe is one of the most underrated players in the nation, and running backs in running back from Tulane, Tyjae Spears. In 11 games for the Wave, he has 996 rushing yards, averaging over 6 yards a carry, 12 touchdowns on the ground, 223 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns for an all-purpose total of 1,219 yards and 14 total touchdowns this season. Another thing about Spears is that this last half of the season for Tulane, he's been absolutely unstoppable. The last 5 games, he has rushed for over 100 yards in each game and has a total of 7 touchdowns in those last 5. He's been someone who's been on a complete tear all season, and he's almost guaranteed to rush for over 1,000 yards in 2022. Now, whether he declares his name for the 23 draft is unknown, but he definitely has made more of a name for himself in front of NFL scouts because of this 22 campaign. Well, guys, if you made it this far in the video, drop something down in the comment section below. What NFL draft eligible players do you think has improved their draft stock the most in 2022? And before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. Be Kelly out.